We interrupt your normal content today with a little Life by Cars winter special. It's supposed to get over a foot of snow. There's already a good 4 inches, 5 inches on the ground, so you know what that means. So now that we got that out of our system, you guys know that I talk kind of a lot of shit in my previous videos about the xDrive versions of these cars, and I stand by that. I still think it's true, because the biggest thing I complain about is the suspension, that there's just no, this car has all the sport packages. Normally the sport packages mean sport suspension. With the E90, E92 generation BMWs, it doesn't matter. If you have xDrive, you have base suspension. It doesn't look very good, it doesn't drive very good. Check out my 5 worst things about this car video if you want to hear more about it. But yeah, I still think BMW should have done a better job on the suspension. But when you have days like we have today, in conditions like this, there's about 6 inches of snow on the ground. Obviously not on the road right here, but we were just plowing through some unplowed areas, and this xDrive system just really handles it, man. Way to pull out in front of somebody in a snowstorm, buddy. So on days like today, you can really see what the xDrive system is capable of, and it is pretty impressive. It's a very well put together all-wheel drive system. In weather like this, you really, like, I have a good set of snow tires on here, and between that and the all-wheel drive, man, you can get through pretty much everything. Obviously you don't have ground clearance of like a truck or something like that, so you have to keep that in mind. But for the most part, you're just gonna be plowing through this stuff. Like, I was just in that lot with, at this point, 6 inches of snow on the ground, and there was no issues whatsoever. And man, it's a lot of fun. That rear wheel drive bias, they send so much of the power to the rear that a lot of times it still feels like a rear wheel drive car in snowy conditions like this. So man, you can just power slide it, you can drift it. That back end comes around in just a very predictable way. It's a lot of fun because those front tires just get fed just enough power so you can get pulled out of any holes, so you don't get stuck passing all these two-wheel drive cars, no problem. Just completely in control. This past weekend I was up snowboarding in Lake Placid, and this is what the roads look like. everywhere, except for like the one main road going through town. Every single road has at least an inch of snow on it, and we're talking about like really sketchy, narrow mountain pass roads where you can barely fit 2 cars on it, but there's like a plow that goes through it once in a while. Like there's so much land up there that they can't plow the whole thing. So every now and then you'll have a plow go by, and in between that, good luck. But this thing, man, it plowed through all of it, no problems. I like literally not one complaint about how this car handled the weekend. Go down into the description and check out my Instagram. See what this car looked like when it came back. Right now, I'm out here right now. I don't feel bad about it because this car is absolutely filthy right now. Just absolutely caked on with sand and salt. But that's okay. Once the storm clears up, we're gonna do a nice little wash, make sure we get all that salt off. But yeah, this thing was an absolute beast over the weekend. We were up there for 3 days. The high temp across the 3 days was, I think, 8 degrees Fahrenheit. We chose, for some reason, one of the coldest weekends they have to go up there to go snowboarding. But we were dealing with overnight negative 15 degree temperatures at the mountain that we were at. Like with wind chill, it was definitely colder than that. Between that, the snow, everything else going on, man, this car just plowed through all of it with 0 issues, no hiccups. I drove over 700 miles there and back, and while there, going to the mountain each day and stuff like that. And we just had no issues whatsoever. Absolutely handled everything like a complete beast. I was very, very impressed. So could I have done what I just did in that lot, or what I was doing over the weekend in Lake Placid in a rear-wheel drive car with snow tires on? Maybe. Usually I'm like, yeah, you can handle pretty much anything with rear-wheel drive and snow tires. As long as you got good tires on there, you'll be fine. You just gotta take your time, be careful. But man, there were some steep roads with a lot of snow on them. It was freezing cold. It was very, very slippery. And you know, I'm not sure if the rear-wheel drive would have been able to handle it, you know? This system, it's impressive. I gotta give it a BMW, because this all-wheel drive system kicks ass. Like right now, driving on this road right here, we're not going very fast. We're going 30 miles an hour. It's obviously bad weather conditions, so we're not going fast. But that system is working really, really hard right now, and it's sending that power to all the different wheels, constantly monitoring where to go, and you barely feel it. Like switching around the power. It's very, very seamless, very, very smooth. It's very impressive. I'm impressed. I've owned this car for 1.5 years now. Last winter that I owned it, we didn't really get very much snow, surprisingly, up here in the Northeast. There was like one storm where we got a couple inches, and that was it. So I didn't really get to drive it very much in the snow last year. So this is kind of the first opportunity. This past weekend and today and some of this week was my first opportunity to really take this thing out in the snow and test out what it can do. And man, I'm very impressed. Like, we're slipping right now, but very controllable. You just catch it, send it back, and send your way forward. No problem. No problem. And we were only slipping there because I was giving it more gas than it needed, because it's fun. We're out here having fun. I don't need to be out here at 7:30 in the morning in a blizzard. But this car just makes it fun. It's enjoyable. So I'll revisit what I said in some of the previous videos. Do I wish that I had gotten a rear-wheel drive instead? The answer is still yes. Most of the driving that I'm more interested in is that summertime performance driving, and that's when I want the better suspension of the rear-wheel drive. And yeah, so I stick to that. But it is kind of cool at the same time to have a car that really truly can do it all and have no issues with it. Like, this car still is great in the summertime, even though the suspension isn't what I want it to be. And again, I'm going to end up changing that out in a little bit, so the suspension will be a little bit better. But it's still great in the summertime. It still performs well with good summer tires on there. And in the winter time, we can do stuff like this and not worry. I'm not going to go down there with the plow truck. We can do stuff like this and it's no issue whatsoever. And I can take the car to Lake Placid for a weekend and go snowboarding and not have a second thought about it, because the car was the best car on the road as far as I'm concerned. Obviously a truck or a Jeep's gonna be a little bit better, but man, this thing was very, very cool to drive up there. All right guys, so that's gonna be it for today. Just a little bit of quick fun in the sun. Nothing fancy for the video today. Probably next week, I don't know. We're a little off schedule because I wanted to get out here in the snow, in the storm, get a video out there, having some fun. So I'm not sure what we'll do next week. Maybe we'll do the 5 things we love about the car, or it might end up being a wash video, because once this storm ends, I gotta get this thing clean. I hate having salt on the car, so we gotta clean her off a little bit, make her look good. All right, stay tuned guys. Peace.